Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Friday. Today, our guest is Markus Mosen, CEO of WeEn Semiconductors. Hi, Markus. How are you? How is it going?
Hi, Maurizio. I'm doing very well. I'm fine. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for joining us. So, where are you located, Markus?
I'm located in Portugal, in a small city at the what we call west coast of Portugal, which is called Silver Coast. For those who are interested in sports and surfing, they might know the Big Wave World Cup competition, and is nearby that place. Not that
Nice.
I'm going on 20-meter high waves, no worries. That's more professional.
Nice. So, Markus, you are the CEO of WeEn Semiconductors, the company that is working on silicon carbide. You have experience, 20 years more or less of global management experience in the semiconductor industry. So, my first question would be, how do you see the semiconductor industry evolving in the context of renewable energy? That is one of the most important topic, and industrial markets, maybe focusing on silicon carbide.
Yeah, I think it's not only silicon carbide or wide band gap, because what we can see is that there's a trend in developing products with higher efficiency.
Yeah.
And that not only for silicon carbide or GaN, which are most famous devices right now, which are already in the market, but you can see that also evolving in the semiconductor industry for renewable energies, like just for simple diodes, but including these diodes, fast recovery diodes, together in a package. So the package on one hand is getting smaller with higher efficiency, but also you put more into bigger packages or modules, more power, but also in a smaller context. So I think the power efficiency, to increase the efficiency, plus of course the cost saving in terms of space, is something which is driving the semiconductor industry today. At least we try to comply to that. Silicon carbide, yes, of course, is already, I would say, not 100% market, which is, but is already a market which is quite, say, introduced. There are
Mhm.
several players, lots of players in between, which are the normal names, the big names, but also smaller companies and younger companies which are trying to move into these markets. It's pretty much adapted into e-mobility. Of course, we all know the famous car maker from the US who is using or was using very widely the silicon carbide solutions. And I think that is also happening for other companies. It depends a little bit on the power requirements of the cars. Are you building a car which is just having, say, the advantage in the city and not needing more than 500 or 600 kilometers per range? Or if you're just talking about 200 or 250 kilometers per range, it might be a more cost-efficient solution. But yes, there we can see it. And we see it also in renewable energies, that we see in the solar industry for power inverters. Of course, you see a strong usage of silicon carbide MOSFETs, including the modules. So that's definitely happening in the higher power segment, but also moving a little bit lower. We see GaN and GaN MOS, of course. And I think that will be a market also growing. I actually think maybe even faster than silicon carbide, because silicon carbide, the major growth was in the e-mobility and renewable energy. Other markets are not that much picking up. I think it will come with costs coming down, with supply being more available. I mean, you might remember that as well, Mauricio, that in the beginning we all were talking about the shortage in terms of substrates, in terms of packages, in terms of materials, but reality is there is no substrate anymore in epi material and also not in the substrates. There will be, I believe, an oversupply in silicon carbide devices, because there was a lot of investments in recent years, in all regions in the world, but of course also very strongly in China, but also in other regions in the world. We know that big players are building big capacity. So that will drive the cost down. This is what we also realized in all these years I'm working in the semiconductor industry, the cost pressure is always there. Besides, of course, improving the power efficiency, you need to come with cost down, and that will only go via development of smaller devices in more efficient devices, and of course having more capacity in order to bring the cost down.
Yeah, cost is always important, of course.
Yes.
So during during your
Please.
career, you organize different strategies, different moment to find the best solution. So, what strategy have you found to be most effective in enhancing, improving the market share across diverse industry that you worked during that time? Also, particular moment, projects, lessons that you remember.
Yeah, like we just talked about, very important topic is cost. So you need to be always a cost leader. You need to try to be a leader, even if you cannot be a cost leader against a competition which has, say, less focus on quality. But you also need to develop a cost leadership, including a leadership in quality and performance. So that's what we always try to do. I think the second and even more important when we're talking about market share is a focus on customer. We need to understand what the customer wants, what the customer is developing in the future. That, of course, is for discretes, where you are not the most, say, important product for the customer's solution. It's not that easy. But again, we always try to understand where customers are moving to, and we try to develop solutions for the new customers' specifications and performance requirements. That's an important topic, I think. The other topic is, of course, when you're working in projects, you need to understand the application. You need to understand what the project owner wants. Yep. I mean, that is always different between different industries. In the semiconductor industry, when you're talking about projects like e-passport, then we are talking about government and government requirements. And government requirement is always a political question because they want to be re-elected. And the other one is a security question because they want to make sure that the passports are secure and cannot be faked. That is a totally different approach, talking with a government in the e-passport project than talking with a customer in a household appliances about the usage of a Sarissa. So, but what I always learned in my career was every single project, every single product is for the customer important. And you cannot neglect. There is no way to say, this is only a 2-cent product, that's less important than a $1 product. So we always try to understand the customer's requirements. And so in that respect, we try to improve, of course, our share at the customers. And that will help you then to improve your market share as well.
Good. So, Markus, how do you see the future? So what are emerging trends that you foresee shaping the future of semiconductor technology?
Well, we are reading all about e-mobility, and I still believe, even now we are reading that the e-mobility in Western Europe is going down, that all the car makers have challenges to sell their cars. They're reducing the price, which I think is more than useful because they're too expensive. I mean, from a user perspective, I also would expect that they're coming down, at least on the same level like the cars on a combustion engine. And you need to have a second-hand market. If you don't have a second-hand market, of course, a lot of people will not comply to the e-cars. But I believe that the e-cars will definitely, and the e-mobility, just because of the needs for the CO2 reduction, will be there and will have a bigger market share than the fueled cars. I still believe in that market, as well as I do believe, even we see it, there is a market reduction in market in usage of solar, but I definitely also believe in solar industry, not necessarily in every country. In cold countries, of course, you have less solar industry, but there you will have more wind energy. But I'm definitely sure that that will drive the semiconductor industry in the foreseeable future. But also, of course, artificial intelligence, KI. that is driving. We see that now that many semiconductor companies in many industries have challenges today, as the markets are not like consumer market, computing market. They are all not in a very good shape. But if you look into AI, KI, they are very strong, and they need power. They need server power. They need data. And that's the same for the automotive industry. They need data. Then it's more important to work on the data, say, availability rather than having a nice car, so to say. So that is changing, and these markets are changing. But I still believe this will drive the semiconductor industry in terms of performance, but also capacity.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly. Thank you. So so you have extensive experience in managing globally. So as you, so what do you believe are main elements, key factors for successful collaboration, cross collaboration, and teamwork in terms of so a company, but also enlarge this collaboration?
I think, well, we always talk when we talk about global business and working in different regions, different cultures, about culture.
Okay.
And that is indeed important. Even so, I say all people need to sleep and all people need to eat and need to drink water. So there's a lot of similarities. However, I think the most important one is, first of all, respect, that you respect every culture in their specific way of working and doing something. And of course, if you want to drive a business according to your understanding, you need to always select the right people. That's very important. People, having the right people, that doesn't really make a difference whether that's now in Italy, in Portugal, in Germany, or in China, or in Mexico, or in the US. It's always a driven business by people. And so in my learning was, if you have the right people with the right attitude, but also, of course, the right motivation, and you have to keep that motivation up, you can achieve a lot. And that is actually independent from the region you are in. Of course, there are certain specifics in every region. Language is a big issue, of course, but there's something beyond language, and which I think is even more important to make people trustful working together.
Yeah. So Markus, my last one, beyond your job. So switching gears from job to hobbies. So what are your hobbies? So what's next plan for the weekend that is coming?
Okay. Okay, we start with the hobbies, so to say, first. For hobbies, I have, say, three. What I'm doing as a sport, besides doing some going to a gym to keep myself fit a little bit, playing golf.
Nice.
And golf is a nasty sport, as you might know if you play golf, because can make you happy within a second, but also very miserable. Give you very miserable feelings if you miss a putt for 3 meters. But again, that will happen. But that makes it actually so attractive for me, and you can enjoy the nature. You're walking. It's not, of course, it's the artificial nature because it's a golf course, but you are outside, you are walking, and it keeps you fit a little bit. Besides this, of course, I do like wine, and I do like also to collect wines. So I don't know how many bottles I have in total, but it's something like 600-700, I guess. But I'm not collecting them in an Excel sheet and counting all of them on the year. So I would like to drink them. But yes, I have my favorite regions, of course, my favorite wines. That's something what I like to do. And last but not least, what I started doing again is playing guitar. So I buy me again new guitar. I still have my old guitars when I was 14, 15, something like this. I started playing guitar. The first one I still have. So it's not really a good guitar anymore, but it's kind of a nice memory. And so once in a while I take it in my hands and I still play it. So these are basically the three things I'm doing. What I like like to do, and I will do it on the weekend. Fortunately, my wife also plays golf. That makes it even more nice, so you can walk together and enjoy. And I do like actually also going, outside hiking and walk in remote areas and stay in remote areas and be not reachable via mobile phone. Yeah,
Great.
that's it basically. But this weekend I will play some golf with friends,
Okay.
and that's basically it.
Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Markus. It's been a pleasure to have you at Wind Down Friday. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a nice weekend. See you next.
Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Thank you. Take care.
Take care.